Hello and welcome. This is Rachel from the Dotting Center bringing you another dotting tutorial video. I'm so excited I get to share this project with you. This was a birthday gift for my millennial sister, Justine, who's very fabulous. So it's multicolored and very sparkly, just like she is. Now for the base coat, I'm going to show you a really fun technique to get all kinds of color applied. And then we're going to use an acrylic wash for the bottom just to see the wood grain come through on that pebble. Then we're going to use a divider stencil to make sure all our dots stay on track. And we're going to change up the colors for each one of these dots. It's going to be very fun. There are only a few tools required. And then at the end, we get to apply some sparkle. And I'll show you the easy way to do that. I loved making this project and I hope you do too. So stick around and I'll show you exactly how to make one for yourself. Now, I once had a professor tell me never to start a presentation with a caveat. I mean, of course, right? Who caveats at the beginning of their presentation? It's like, so bad. So after looking up what the heck a caveat was, I learned that you aren't supposed to warn the viewers of the impending mistakes contained in the presentation therein. So rather than immediately warning you about the missing footage in this video, I decided to show a silent film that depicts the exact events where I discovered that the entire first section of the video was missing. So here is exactly how it went down. Okay, good. Now we're all on the same page. So to complete this project, you'll need to have a few tools. You'll need some dotting rods. You'll need some stylus tools. And if you haven't already picked up my divider stencils, these things are awesome. And if you want to end up adding some bling, you'll need to get some crystals. And I do offer a wax pencil that's awesome for applying crystals to your projects. I use Judykin's Diamond Glaze to apply my crystals because it's nice and clear, and I used all these paint colors for this project. Now, the actual object I'm painting is this cute little precious 3-inch wood pebble. Those are also available at the Dotting Center, and with every wood pebble project, you have the putty plug on the top. Now I use these two paintbrushes. One is an angular brush and one is just a square bright brush. Doesn't really matter, whichever you prefer. Now I'm adding white here just in the center because I want my magenta to really pop. And it's a processed magenta paint, so it's mostly transparent. So it really matters if you have a bright background. It really makes it pop. And so then you just apply the different colors in little impressionistic, little slices like this. And, you don't really have to clean your brush. You just whoa, hey, that was a mistake. I've done this dotting before and it's completely ruined. But thankfully, we can just keep on going because it's fine. So really there's no reason to be perfect with any of this, although it's so fun. I just kind of want to stay here and endlessly tweak this all day. It's really a fun way to paint. So for the edges, what I wanted to do was clean it up. so that there weren't any kind of half-formed brush marks, and still have it have a jagged, irregular edge, but make sure that each one of those brush strokes is really well defined. And you know, I think that makes it look like it's done on purpose rather than having it be haphazard. Now, I posted this as a work in progress on Instagram, and one of my artist buddies, Belinda from Belinda's Zen Heart Art, got inspired and did a stunning reinterpretation of it with a clean white minimal dot mandala design over the top. And then she went and embellished with pearls. I mean, it's so good. I just love this. This is truly one of my favorite things about Instagram, when we can all kind of vibe on each other's work and, you know, get inspired and take things new places. It's like a big art conversation, and it's just so much fun. So now for the back, I'm going to use this foam brush and just use a light wash of this light blue. And you know, sometimes this works really well and sometimes it doesn't. It's not like a stain, it still has some opacity. So, you know, it's just supposed to be a light wash. Now, would I like it to be a stain? Yes. Next time I will apply a stain. But for this project, this was a quick and easy way to add some color to the wood grain and show you that you can have different colors for the bottom and still have the grain showing through the paint, which I really love. Okay, so now we're going to use one of my divider stencils with some putty right in the center to hold it in place. And I still use these every single time for every mandala that I do, because I still have dots that veer off into Nowheresville. And if I don't have these divider lines, I don't have anything to give me a placeholder and let me know, okay, everything is still in alignment and it's working. So this is a quick and easy way to divide your pebble into pieces and keep everything on point. Now we're going to add the center dot right in the middle. And using our stylus tool, we're just going to use those divider lines to give us the exact placement of those first dots surrounding the center dot. Okay, so now we're back to the original footage, and you can see this pebble is a little bit more mixed together. It's a little bit more impressionistic. I mixed it a little bit more, and I didn't use as much yellow and green, but it's still the same basic principle. So for this first row of multicolored dots, what you want to do is place them in between the two previous dots, but below. So there's a space where the dot can just kind of snug up right in the center of the previous two dots. And now using a larger stylus, you're going to do the same exact thing, lining it up on the lines now instead of the spaces, and just switching up the colors. No real rhyme or reason, just whatever color you want to pick goes next, and you're going on the lines. Okay, so now we're going to grab a rod that fits exactly in the space in between those two divider lines. And the same principle, you just make a color decision, go with it, and then switch to a different color. And what you're doing is wiping the end of your rod off each time and dipping it into a different color. So now we're going to walk the dots using a small tool, whether you use pointed silicone tools like I have here, or you can also use a really small stylus tool. And you just start in the center and then walk your way around the outside edge of each of these dots. And you just want to do every other large dot. And then you're going to switch to a different color and do all the remaining dots. So now we're going to pick a slightly larger stylus tool and surround each of those tiny dots with larger dots. And we're going to do every other section and then switch it up with a different color and do every other section all the way around. Now we're going to grab a slightly smaller size rod and do every other section with one dot. Do the same thing in a different color all the way around. And now a huge dot in between those two and switch the colors so that it's irregular. But you're right on top of the divider lines and wiping off that same tool in between each of these dot placements. Dot placements? Is that a thing? Each one of these dots that you place? I don't know. Now I noticed that this paint had peaks, which is not a good look, so I tried to smooth them out. Oh no. Not again. Okay, so here we are. And I just added a circle with my compass to this piece, as you can see, because there is a circle right there. And so now what you want to do is take your stylus tool and using a different color, walk the dots around each one of those larger dots surrounding the pebble. And now using a tiny tool, like a silicone tool or a tiny stylus tool, just add dots right on top of that chalk line all the way around in alternating colors. Now, there's no reason to be perfect with this and these dots. I mean, if you want to work on perfect dots, you absolutely can. But the background here, because it's multicolored, is actually super forgiving. So if your dots aren't exactly perfect, it actually, I think, adds a little bit of character. And you know what? It's art. So it doesn't have to be perfect. If it was perfect, then we would have a robot do this.
My dots are always perfectly executed.
But until then, we are tasked to make these things. And you know what? Honestly, if I had a robot, I wouldn't waste its time making art. I would just program it to do things like cooking and cleaning and, you know, general household stuff. Yeah, leave the art to humans, okay? Oh, I'm getting all fired up, guys. No robot art. Can I hear that in the comments?
No robot art. No robot art. Wait, what? But I really think I'm an artist, Dave.
Whoa, wait, who's Dave? Anyway, can you just clean the kitchen, please?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Oh, hello, Tangent. It's Rachel. So I'm sorry I kind of got off track there a little bit with that robot artist dystopian future, but we'll get right back into the tutorial and do some dotting. Now you can see sometimes these colors mix, and that really looks kind of cool. So you may not even want to wipe the tool off in between colors and just have everything mix. That might be something that would be fun to try as a variation. Now that dot shape was a little too wonky for me, so I grabbed one of my silicone tools and just scraped off some of that excess, grabbed my tool and did a redo. Tried to clean up that edge a little bit. Yeah, so there were some top dots added, and you can see on the top there what I did. You just want to use a tool size that's smaller and use a color that is different, and you just do that all the way around the entire design. On every dot, just use my silicone tool, just clean that up and move on. But yeah, use a different color, use a smaller size, and you should be good to go. Now at this point in the project, I hadn't intended on using any crystals or any kind of sparkle embellishments on this design. I was just going to do just straight color and finish with some kind of sparkly glaze. So right now you can see the top dots are going on, but where you're going to place crystals, you obviously don't have to embellish any further. If you're going to add a crystal, don't paint underneath it. But if you don't want to add crystals, you can just keep following along, and because without the crystals it still looks pretty cool. So now using my microdot pointed silicone tool, I'm just going to add dots surrounding each one of those really big dots along the edge. So I know you guys asked for more close-up shots, but I kind of feel like this is a little too close. If you have an opinion on that, please leave it in the comments. This is very close up. That's a little better. What do you guys think? So I sealed this with some Dragonfly glaze and I posted it on Facebook and I was like, hey, what do you guys think? Should I embellish it further? This is what my sister sent. Very subtle, I know. But since this was my sister's birthday present, I went straight back to the studio and I grabbed all of my sparkles, and I got to the business of adding sparkle to this pebble. And I like to use this diamond glaze because it dries clear. I was using super glue, which ends up drying really hazy and gross. So this is really nice, a nice glue to use. Now you can see here this wax pencil. I sell these at the dotting center. They are amazing. They're like 8 inches long. You'll only need one for your entire life. And it just makes applying crystals so easy. You can pick them up really quickly, and as soon as they hit that glue, they stick and apply. So yeah, those are fun. I used to use tweezers, and that was just ridiculous. It was not working out for me, so I had to find a better way, and this is the way. So for these up top, I chose to do every other dot, and really you can mix it up. Obviously, if I had known that I was going to apply crystals, I wouldn't have added top dots. It actually, it's a waste of time, but it adds a little bit of paint height underneath those crystals, and it messes up the placement a little bit. So the flatter the dot, the more better the crystal application is going to be. It's going to be more better. Now, the crystals that I'm using here aren't actually Swarovski crystals. They're just, a generic mixed bag of crystals that I had in my closet. So I don't know where I got these, but you can find them anywhere. And I actually have Swarovski crystals, but it didn't look as good, surprisingly. I just needed something that was a flat color that had sparkle, but wasn't too flashy, and this just worked out. So you don't always have to get the super expensive ones, because I know those are like crazy expensive. So here you can see the pink and orange stain that I used on the bottom of this wood pebble, and you can see how the grain looks amazing. So sometimes you can use an acrylic wash and it really works. So here we are completing all of the crystalling, and yeah, it ended up being a really fun project. Which, this is, my daughter made that. I used to do polymer clay, and that's actually bacon and some peppermints on top of a rock with 2 blue eyes. I think she did a great job. So that's what happens while I'm painting. Usually there's some other project going on behind me. But here's the switching out of the center crystal. I went with a bigger one, and I like that one a lot better. So here is the finished product, and I gave it to my sister as her birthday gift, and she really loved it. So that made me happy. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, you probably should, because I'm going to train my art robot to be my new videographer.
But I feel really creative today.
No. All you have to do is record me painting, see, because I'm the artist.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Okay, listen, robot. I am Rachel. I'm not Dave. God, how do you program this thing?